for joining us here with the Central New York Cash Coalition for Money Talks. My name is Andrea Wandersee. I'm the Executive Director of NEDA, and we are here with Sally Ward from Peace. She's going to tell us a little bit about home weatherization, but first let me, oh, never mind, we'll do that at the end. Sally, thanks so much for being here. It's certainly that time of year where the nights are starting to get a little chilly, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So
if
take
you
it
want to
away
go to
for
the
us.
slide.
I've got the weatherization program slide up for us.
Yeah, if you can go to slide number 2, please.
There we go.
It looks like it's still the first one that with the money talks and everything.
Oh no, not for what do you see, Manila?
Yeah, I just see the first page right now.
Okay, hang on a second. Let me
And you might have to go full screen on your end.
yeah. Sorry about that, folks.
There we go.
Is that better?
Much.
Yes, thank you.
My apologies. Go ahead, Sally. Take it away.
All right. So the weatherization program is a federal program that is offered in every county of every state and every U.S. territory. So wherever you live, there is a program that covers your area. And some of the benefits of participating in weatherization is obviously it helps reduce your energy costs. It helps conserve energy, which we know is so important for the environment. It makes you more comfortable in your home. A lot of times what we hear from folks when we've weatherized their home is how much quieter their home is. They don't hear the street traffic. And in the summer, their house stays cooler. In the wintertime, it stays warmer. And it also improves health and safety, whether it's making sure there's adequate ventilation in the home, making sure that homes have sufficient CO and smoke detectors, things like that. Health and safety is a very important part of the weatherization program. If you go to the next slide, please. There we go. So the services that we offer, which there's so many smaller things that would need about 50 slides to include them all, but air sealing, that's a huge one. We air seal extensively throughout the home, especially in the attic and in the basement. If you've ever gone in your basement, you see where your furnace ductwork goes up, or maybe some of your water pipes through the floor, the first floor. You can see daylight, and where you can see daylight, air is getting through there. So we do a lot of air sealing in the basement. We seal the perimeter of the basement, which is where your basement foundation meets the wooden part of your home. We air seal that up. In the attic, we make sure that we seal any plumbing chases. Some of the old homes, especially in this area, are what we call balloon frames. So there's a direct path from the basement to the attic. So we block those off. So if you've ever gone down the street in the wintertime and you see houses where some of them, the entire roof is covered with 2 or 3 inches of snow and others are completely bare, the houses that have the bare spots are the ones that are not insulated and air sealed. So when we go down, you know, it's kind of an occupational hazard. When I'm driving down, I'm like, that house is insulated, that house is insulated, that one's definitely not. And sometimes you can see where there's patches that are bare, which means the air sealing wasn't done adequately. And along with the air sealing is the insulation of the attic and walls. You know, insulation isn't sexy. You can't touch it. You can't see it. You can't say, oh, look what I got done in my home. But it is the biggest saver of energy and therefore money that you can do for your home. We dense pack the walls in the attics of the home, and it seals it up real tight. The insulation in and of itself is an air sealing measure as well. We also look at heating season or systems, excuse me, and we make sure that they're efficient. We make sure that they're safe. We, at a minimum, do clean and tunes of the furnace. We do replace a lot of units. A lot of them were, installed 20 plus years ago, and there's much more efficient technology out there. One of the things we notice, though, is if you have an older furnace, it's what we call an 80%er, and the heat just gently wafts up through your vents, and it, kind of warms it all up. But when you have the more high efficiency ones, the fans run a little bit faster, and the air comes up quicker, so then it feels cooler. But in fact, it actually is at the same temperature, just because the movement of the air makes it feel like it's cooler. But the heating systems, that can save you quite a bit of money on your energy bill, as well as reduce health and safety issues like carbon monoxide, things like that. We also make sure that we teach clients how to replace their filters. If you don't replace your filters on a regular basis, we recommend every month during the wintertime. Check it even more often if you have a lot of pets in the home, because the furnace is sucking in the air, and a lot of debris, dust, contaminants, pet hair all get in there. So you really need to make sure that furnace filters are cleaned and replaced as necessary. I recommend the reusable ones. You can actually wash them out. A lot of people have laundry sinks in their basements. You just hose them off and put them back in there. That way you don't ever have to worry about running out of them. So that's one of the things that we do. Unfortunately, we can't do the reusable ones, but we do make sure that the clients do get an extra furnace filter and they know how to change it. We do things like efficient lighting. When I started with Peace 25 years ago, we were doing compact fluorescent light bulbs. They're about 15 inches tall, and they cost about $15 a piece. Now we're down doing LEDs that are all different kinds. They have the three-way switches, they have the dimmables, and where they used to also be extremely expensive, they've come down to $1 a bulb now also. So we replace any incandescent or CFLs with LEDs whenever we can. We can oftentimes replace the refrigerator if it's old enough. Unfortunately, we can only go by the kilowatt hours used. If it's kind of one where the door doesn't close great, or the seal's a little bit off, oftentimes we can't get enough savings to justify replacing them. We talked about the CO and smoke detectors. New York State has Amanda's Law, which requires there be a CO detector on every floor of the home that has either a combustion appliance like a stove or a water heater or furnace, and where there's a bedroom. And we also do client education, things that they can do to help reduce energy costs. Oftentimes, the client can be the best source of savings or the worst source of energy loss. We might pull up to a house in January where we see the windows are open upstairs, the heat is set at 75, and the kids are running around in T-shirts and shorts. And, on the flip side, we can go to the same house in July and the windows are still open, the air conditioning set to 65, and the kids are running around in sweatshirts and sweatpants. So it's education is really, really key. We can make all the improvements in the world to a home, but we can't control what clients do. So we really do try to engage with them and ask them what they think they could do to help reduce their energy bills. And some of them come up with, some real creative solutions. Sometimes we have to hold their hands to some solutions, but we find that our clients are pretty savvy, and they're open to making the changes that they need to reduce their energy use. So the program that we operate at Peace Incorporated, we cover Onondaga and Oswego County, and we do have wait lists. The Oswego County wait list is approximately 12 to 18 months. The Onondaga program is approximately 36, sometimes up to 40, 42 months, but we do get to everybody. We do a first come, first served basis. It's just, we have so many clients that have already applied and been approved that, there's only so many hours in the day and so many days in the week to get to everybody. But, we tell people the time is going to come and go whether they're on the waiting list or not. So, better to be on the list, and that way, when we call you and say, hey, we're ready to do your energy audit, we just need to update your file. We can get to them. We tell them we can't get to you if you don't get on the waiting list. Sometimes it runs a little quicker. Some folks don't necessarily recertify their application in a timely fashion, so we go down the line. Do get referrals from Onondaga County office if a client has had a furnace repaired or replaced through their heating equipment repair and replacement program. They refer the client to us so that we can weatherize the home to maximize the efficiency of that new furnace and have it last longer and get, even more savings to the customer. One of the things that we don't do that we get a lot of requests for is doors and windows. Every measure that we do has to pay for itself in energy savings. So, for example, if we want to replace a window and it's going to cost $400 to replace that window alone has to save $400 on the energy bill over the life of the measure. And right now, people heating with natural gas, the cost per therm is not too terribly high right now, but the cost of materials is definitely high, and labor costs continue to go up. So we're just finding that doors and windows don't get enough energy savings, but thankfully insulation and air sealing will always pay for itself in savings. I think that's our program in a nutshell.
Sally. How what are the income qualifications on this, or is it based on family size? Is that something you can go over, or is that something you just have to call and find out?
It is. What we do is we follow the same income guidelines as the Home Energy Assistance Program, HEAP, and it is based on the number of people in the household. Their income guidelines just recently went up, so I'm anticipating within a few weeks that the Weatherization program will adapt those income guidelines. But for right now, if somebody were to call and they have a household of maximum monthly income, it's $4,409 before any taxes or deductions.
Okay.
If a family receives a regular HEAP payment, which helps, goes directly to the utility providers, if they get a regular HEAP benefit, they're considered categorically eligible. If they are a recipient of SNAP, they are also categorically eligible. We do a few categories that make somebody automatically eligible. In our program, we service, people who live in single-family homes, 1 to 4 family homes, mobile homes, as well as apartment complexes. We do apartment complexes in conjunction with the owner participating, but the majority of our clients are single-family owners. We work with renters. We try to make it as affordable for the landlords to participate in the program. They are required to sign a 2-year agreement with us, as well as pay 25% of the costs. And it's our actual cost, not no profits written in or anything like that. So it's it's very affordable. And if somebody was going to give me a new furnace and fully insulate my house for 75% off, man, I'd take that deal.
Absolutely. No, that's great to know about the renters in particular. Thank you so much. For the homeowners on the windows and the doors, homeowners can talk to Home Headquarters for their SHARP program and apply for that.
Yeah, and if they have small children in the house and the house was built before 1978, they could certainly apply for the lead program. Community Development handles the lead program for the county, and I believe right now they are still administering the program for the city of Syracuse. I could be wrong on that, but if you call them, they would be able to give the correct information. But that's so important to get the houses remediated with lead. We work very lead safe. We have a whole process in place. We have information that we give our clients and everything if we're going to disturb any lead paint. But if there's small children in the house, we definitely recommend that they contact the lead program.
Excellent. Thank you. Any other questions for Sally?
I was going to ask about mixed units where it's owner-occupied, 2 units, owner-occupied, and then also renter. But I assume you treat that since you're doing the windows, you're taking each unit by, unit by unit at that point, I assume.
Well, say for example, it's a 4-unit building and the owner resides in one of the units. We would have to have at least 2 of the apartments apply and qualify. We don't come in and just weatherize 1 unit in the building. We treat the entire building as one, but the qualification is 50% if it's 4 units or less, 66% if it's, 5 units or more. So if it's a 4-unit and 1 unit is vacant and 2 are occupied by renters and 1 is occupied by the owner, the vacant is considered automatically eligible. The owner just has to agree to rent it to a low-income family or client within 6 months of us being done. So then we would need at least 1 of the tenants to qualify for the program. It doesn't make sense to only weatherize 1 apartment, especially depending how the building's set up. It could really, what are we going to do? Insulate, 1 wall or 2 walls, or if the person who qualifies lives upstairs and it's balloon framing, in order to insulate upstairs, we'd basically have to insulate, all the way from the bottom up. So we treat the building as a whole. And if the landlord is income eligible as well, sometimes, they are. They, maybe have a small Social Security and a little bit of rent, then, we don't have to charge the owner anything, but they do have to agree to keep the building for a period of time and keep the rent stable.
Follow-up question, since you mentioned that in Onondaga County, the wait time might be, 4 years. What if you apply and you're approved and then it's eventually your turn, but the tenancy has changed or anything else has changed? Do people lose their approval if it or if qualification requirements change? Can you be kicked off the list?
What we do is we do have to update their information when they are at the top of the wait list. I would say between 5 and 8% of people no longer qualify. They've, maybe gotten a different job, or, they were a household of 3 and 2 people have moved out, and now their income puts them over for 1. That does happen. If you were a tenant in a single-family home and you're approved, that approval really is both for you and the building. So all of a sudden now you've moved, your eligibility goes with you. You stay in the same spot in the waiting list. You just have to reapply at the new building. But the landlord, property owner, can apply for the new tenant to get qualified, and then that building will also stay in the queue at the same point. As we understand, especially if they're transient by nature, there's a lot of turnover. And the rentals are the hardest ones to get through, so we want to weatherize as many rental properties as is possible. And if the property owner is willing to participate in the program, then, not only should that tenant be able to keep their eligibility status and their approval date, but that apartment or that building should also.
Great. Thank you.
Wow, that's a great program. Any other questions for Sally? Okay, Sally, thank you so much for coming today. Who knows, we might have you back to talk about energy efficiency tips at some point. In the meantime, I do want to thank the CNY Cash Coalition, particularly the United Way of Central New York, who sponsors the program. We're a fairly robust group of organizations listed here. And we work to create assets, savings, and hope for low and moderate income individuals and families here in Onondaga County. Also want to remind everybody about the financial empowerment centers where you can go and get free financial counseling if you live in Onondaga County. You can reach out to their website at syracusefec.org. We've got a couple more Money Talks coming up. We've got a special edition tomorrow at November 4th about health insurance open enrollment. And on Wednesday, November 9th at noon, we're doing a holiday spending program. So thanks so much, everyone, for being here, and we will see you next time. Thanks, Sally.
Thanks for having me. Thank you. Bye-bye.